Well, hello everybody. I just want to take a moment of silence, if you don't mind, just to focus on that we're here and we're present. And it's so true. The world can be so busy and noisy that as a highly sensitive person, it's so easy to get pulled into whatever is happening. And you feel like you're being torn into different directions, and you feel like you're losing yourself in the world. Well, the world can feel so overpowering. So, if you don't mind, let's just take a moment to feel our presence in this moment. And what does it feel like to feel your own energy? Maybe you can feel it in your body in this moment. Maybe you can feel it, tingling sensations, whatever is happening. Or maybe you have too many thoughts. It's all okay. It's all okay to be with whatever it is without resistance. So if you feel like it, you can close your eyes and maybe take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just start noticing everything that's happening around you, the noises especially, the sounds. It's easier when your eyes are closed, but you can keep them open so you don't feel distracted. And notice if you're in a peaceful state, if you're in an ecstatic state, if you're in a neutral state. Whatever is happening right now is true for you. See if you can be an observer in this moment. There's no right way to be, no wrong way to be in this moment, just as you are. Just as you are right in this moment. And allow yourself to fully be here without any expectations, without letting your mind chatter all the time. And if it does, that's okay. That's all right. It's all good. And I want to share, while you keep your eyes closed, I want to share one of the exercises actually outlined in the book to help yourself feel grounded. Notice if you can feel the sensations of the soles of your feet. And now imagine the roots growing out of your feet into the ground. And notice how that makes you feel. And whatever you feel is all right now. And maybe take a deep breath in. Hold it. And release. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Alright, welcome back. So, I have to be honest, I didn't prepare a list of what I'm going to talk about today because especially for the past few years when the life drastically changed, I go with the flow and I go with whatever life takes me. So, bear with me. Maybe just like yourself, and that's why you're here, that maybe you felt your whole life different, highly sensitive, and maybe you've been, called to sensitive. You need to grow up, you need to toughen up, you need to, be different, try to fit in. And I've been there. Hello, yeah, of course. I've been there for a long time. And am I late? No, you're good. felt like I needed to be something else or someone else in order to be accepted by the society. And then I would say, okay, if I'm more outgoing, if I'm more chatty, if I do this and that, then I will be accepted and that'll be good. But that always felt very foreign to me. That always felt like I was pushing myself to be something who I was not. So this book was born because of these challenges that I overcame as an empath, as a sensitive person. And for a while I had no idea what empath is. But then when I heard that word, without even Googling the term, I told myself that's probably who I am. So what made me write this book? For a few years I've been guided to be on this path of sharing how to help other sensitive people. And my desire was to get all of these tools that I shared with my clients over the years, the events that I did over the years, to get it out there and make sure everybody can just open the book and have something handy as a tool, as something that can help you wherever you are. So I probably will start reading a little bit from my book, from chapter 2, The Norms of Society. Obviously in the book I go deeper into societal energy streams because we're all energy beings, and there are different streams of energy. And we sometimes get hooked on certain streams and feel very vulnerable and feel like we cannot be ourselves because something is always pulling us to be something else. So let me just, without further ado, go ahead and read this part, the desire to fit in. When, my dear empath, was the start of your journey to fit in and fade away? Ever since I was little, I felt as if aliens left me here without instructions on navigating this strange world. Where is my soul home? Where do I belong? Somebody please get me. Come and get me. On top of everything, I learned to shut down my sensitivity because I was told to toughen up and become strong. As a result, I became so strong that connecting to another human being became an excruciating experience. I was perceived as aloof and cold to others when I was trying to protect myself and had developed a coping mechanism by hiding my vulnerability. I just want to make a note here that it's so common for sensitive people to shut down the vulnerable side because of how much we feel. We can walk into the room and feel the energy of the room. We can read the room really well. And we can feel great one moment. I remember these moments when I would go into the store food shopping and I feel great, and I would walk into these giant supermarkets and I would just come out feeling drained with body aches. So it's very common to have this coping mechanism of shutting down if we don't feel that we can trust the environment. And we constantly keep our energy open, and that's why we pick up other people's vibrations, feelings, and sensations. The world is like a mirror. It would bring me back more cold people and experiences as a result of hiding my true self. Being cold different in my mind corresponded with being weird. I knew that the norms of society don't accept different, and that's something that I had to deal with over the time, to accept every little flaw, every little thing that I consider to be wrong, and look at myself from a different perspective. That's actually it's perfect exactly as I am. Society is an energy stream that wants to feed on the energy of those who represent it. And I go more in the book about energy streams as well in this chapter. This energy stream runs on the programming of keeping people asleep in a dream of life. In other words, not being awakened. If you're awakened, you break the programming and create your own life. The majority of people are unhappy and anxious, and it has to do with the fact that they are asleep and have no idea what their innate nature is. You are here to break the programming, otherwise you wouldn't be reading this book or listening. Accepting yourself as you are and making peace with where you are is a part of breaking the programming. And this is when I feel the majority of empaths start to break free from the negative societal streams. Now, if you'll read the book, you will see that I talk more about societal energy streams, like news. Watching news is one of them, because we all know it's all about fear. And especially as an empath, when you feel drawn to that energy stream, what's happening is that you are feeding that stream. You're giving your energy away. While that stream is growing stronger, you're growing weaker because there is not enough self-awareness of your own energy. You start accepting your imperfections, your unique expression in this universe. You become unapologetically you while not fitting into society, but still perfectly functioning with no fear as a part of this unique incarnation. I forced myself to be quote-unquote normal. It was the most dangerous thing I have done to my soul. I put my soul in the closet, locked the door, and asked her to stay calm. As empath, we do this daily, not realizing that our soul screams for freedom. An authentic life is painful for empath. By nature, empaths prefer honesty and truth, but because we shut down the essential part of who we are, we suffer from misunderstanding and social awkwardness. We'd rather hide than interfere with the world. Empaths struggle with being misunderstood. Was being understood. Because the world operates on the 5 sensory basis, empaths don't want to feel different. So they start minimizing their superfiller gift to fit in and not to be judged as being different. I too tried to be normal, and it crushed my soul. Our purpose is to step away from the norms of society and fulfill our potential by helping others rise. You will learn how to activate your gift in Chapter 7. But we can't do that until we accept our power within. It's time to accept that you're different. We feel and understand people without them saying a word. Anyone ever relate to this, that sometimes you just read the body language and you feel the energy in the room, and it's just like someone is saying something, but they know they don't mean that. And it can be sometimes painful, and it can be sometimes confusing. We know if someone is lying or being truthful, and we are naturally drawn to people to help people shine. That's another thing. When I used to work with a lot of clients back in the days, and people would say, you know what, just people stop me on the streets and tell me their issues, their problems. And it was interesting because that's kind of a natural thing for empath. Their energy is bright and open. It's not shut down. Their sensitivity allows them to go for the love of truth of who they are, and people feel that. People feel that, and they want a little bit of that energy. They're naturally drawn to empath. But what happens if empaths are not taking care of themselves properly is, they draw people who can take advantage of them. Their energy, of their kindness, of but then we take our power back by learning who we are. And then what happened in my life personally as well, that better friends came in, different people pulled in. So it was quite an interesting, challenging ride, but it was an interesting one. But while unaware, all of this can make us feel depleted and lost. I've worked with hundreds of clients who felt the need to fit in to succeed. It isn't easy to be understood in the world that operates only on logic and 5 sensory experience. And that's another thing, is that empath can be quite intellectual and logical, but they have this perception of the unseen world. They can easily tune into that. And not everybody operates that way, you know. I believe a lot of great artists and painters, they were able to do that, but they were called mad because of this, because they were constantly tuning into this unseen realm and getting their inspiration from it, which is like one consciousness, right? One universal consciousness, everything streams from there. So empaths are easily tuned into that, and that's their gift. But when they are unaware, when they are disempowered, it can be such a challenge, especially when they feel like they need to fit in. If they don't see what you see, you begin to label yourself as crazy. But your craziness might be the getaway to unraveling your authentic self. Many of those who achieve something grand were labeled crazy, or at least different. There is a thin veil between my soul and my physical world, and my bones can feel every energetic movement. This is true, and while working with other empaths, they would share the same thing, that they can completely relate, that it's that feeling, innate feeling. You just know it, you just feel it, you're just there. I have eyes in the back of my head registering every person's mood in a room. I've gotten better with that, because what I learned to do is that not to constantly tune in. So because I'm constantly reading that data and constantly processing it as an empath, and it can be very draining. You know, at the end of the day, you're like, I didn't do anything, but I'm tired. So if you felt like that, it's because of a constant energy reading that's incoming data. By feeling this way, you can lose your mind pretty quickly if you don't know how to navigate this world as a highly sensitive person. Because I care, I had to learn to care selectively. Taking on the noise of the world is a recipe for disaster for highly sensitive people. Being aware of your energy when you're among others is your ticket out of an overwhelming life. This is why it is time to wake up. The world has become even more intense. The stream of information overload from the news and social media is hard to contain. And that's another thing I want to mention, guys. Social media, and especially these days. I remember a few months ago, I had this pool while I was going through deep healing. I had this pool just to close my social media, and that's how I used to do a lot of work through social media and connecting with people, and just leave my phone in the car every day. Every day I'll park my car in the garage, and I leave my phone there, and then I come home. And it was completely different experience, you know. It was completely, there was so much peace. I didn't force myself to do that, but it happened organically. And every time I would go, let's say, like in a couple of weeks, I'll go and check my DMs and making sure I'm not, you know, to reply at least to some messages. Every time I'll go there, it's just even being there caused me anxiety. So it's just like, by itself, it's a stream of energy that can be very overwhelming and overpowering. So in the book, I also share the tools that will help you actually to, and I like this word so much, but detoxify yourself a little bit from all that energy in social media as well. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need the tools to break free from negativity and find your voice and authentic self. People always ask me if there's a way to turn off being so sensitive. And here's my answer. No, you can't turn it off. In fact, the more you try to run away from it, the more you face overwhelming challenges. But you can tune into more pleasant frequencies and turn your sensitivity into a gift, creating life on your terms. Running away from being a super feeler may be unwise, because the ability to feel allows us to heal. So I want to pause here and say it again. It's hard to heal if you don't feel it. It's not pleasant to face our feelings, especially uncomfortable. It's easier when it's exciting emotion. It's easy when something happens, and be excited, be positive, be all there and cheering up. When we are not taking care of every little thing that comes up, maybe it's an anxiety, maybe it's something from the past, from the trauma, something was triggered. It's like a scar, right? It healed, but you look at it and it reminds you of it every time you look at it. So our sensitivity allows us to heal everything. We can sit with those emotions, as uncomfortable as it can be, but because we're sensitive, we can catch them. That's part of your gift. If you can catch it, that means you can bring it up to the surface and release it, right? So it allows us to heal. When you learn that your emotions mean something, you can take your power back. Realize that being different is a good thing. It allows you to see the world through the lens of compassion and care for the planet and the loved ones around you. Tell me, if not now, then when do we need more of this? My job is to equip you with the tools that help me and hundreds of other empaths. And I hope that you will take your practice seriously and start changing your life, so one day you can help another shine their light brightly. I want to say that one thing, if we're talking about the gift of being highly sensitive, of being an empath, is your desire for truth of who you are, of the nature of your being. And that's what brings you here. That's what makes you probably, like in the past, I would go to bookshops just like that, go to Selfhelp section and see, like, I want to know, who am I? Why am I here? What's happening? Because since I was little, I could feel like, again, aliens left me here without instructions, just dropped me on this planet. I knew deep down that everything I would look at, it almost was like a dream. I knew that there's something else. I knew that these daily mundane activities, as much as they were important, they really were not the deep meaning of life. So what I realized over the years working with Empath and going through this journey myself is that we have that desire for love, for truth. And last year something happened that actually changed how I looked at everything. It took a near-death experience for me to open my eyes and realize that I was prioritizing the wrong things in life. I was caught up in the society, in the stream, and trying to achieve something or trying to be someone, forgetting the most important thing of who we are, truly in our nature. And when that happened, I had to face a lot of fear, and I share a little bit more about that in my book. A lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. And one of the biggest things for me was to make peace with the uncertainty. And that was the toughest. My desire was to live because I have 3 beautiful children, and I had to finish my book because I just started writing it. And I realized one day when I woke up with so much fear that I have a choice now. Do I allow fear in my life, and how much of fear I allow in my life? From that day, I wanted nothing more than peace and happiness. And then I realized that we want everything in life just because we think something will bring us peace or happiness, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a material thing, whether it's an experience. It could be something tangible, it could be something subtle like experience. And we want all of that just only because we believe something will bring us that fulfillment and contentment. So from that point in my life, I allowed every moment to be as it is without trying to change it. Or I used to be a control freak, I have to say. Every little thing, I wanted to be my way, you know, and I wanted to be perfect. Still probably recovering perfectionist. And I talk about that in the book as well. I talk, you know, part of the book is about how we come to this realization that peace and happiness is not something outside ourselves. It's actually our true nature. It's who we are. And what happens is that we look outside of ourselves all the time because it's easy to look at objects, whether it's an experience, sensations, perceptions, and we think and feel that, okay, in the future or in the nearest future, this will bring me happiness, this will be enough for me. Only to realize our true nature. As a lover of truth, I realize my true nature, and our true nature is one consciousness, and that is peace. It's not peace that I have to attain. You are peace. It's your true nature. So my hope when I was writing that book, besides giving you the tools to manage your sensitivity, to do practices that will help you with the meditation and different other practices that will help you become empowered, is to realize that you don't have to look any further. When we are veiled, when our nature, when we come here as, let's say, born as babies, right? There's only consciousness. We're not yet perceiving the world like we do now. Then we go to school, we pick up certain programmings that we believe what other people say. Then we, you know, start going with that energy stream, believing that if I do X, Y, and Z, I will be successful and I will be happy and I will be peaceful if I'll get that relationship, if this will happen, if I'll get a family, and so on. And I've been there because every little part of my life, it's almost like I was going somewhere with the desire, this will make me happy, this will make me happy. And, you know, it took a very great challenge in my life to wake up, actually. To wake up. And then I look back and I'm like, you know, that one of the greatest challenges actually are our greatest opportunities as well, if we look at them that way. So if I would have to say one thing here, I probably would say many things, but it's the realization that since we were little babies, we started gathering this information, data, you know, we're looking at our parents, what they were doing, what they were saying, and obviously we believed them, and we started taking it on and believing that's who we are. And then we were told that you need to get a career, achieve this and that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it was on the pretense that, okay, if you do this, you will be happy. And what we end up doing, we just end up going after some so-called, I would have called them invisible things, because they're not, they never bring us happiness. It's like you try to grasp water. Try to grasp water, what will happen? It just feels that way. And then there's frustration, you know, because we realize that's not what happiness is all about. So what is peace? What is happiness? Where is it? That's who we are. And when we unveil our nature, when we unveil our nature of these objective experiences and thoughts, including thoughts, when in a moment maybe of meditation, when you can feel empty, so to speak, you feel that sense of peace. But it's unconditional. It doesn't come from something else. So when I was faced with a life-threatening diagnosis, very rare one, and I knew that, and then it was so rare that that wasn't even researched enough. I knew that there's no way of searching for anything outside. I really had no choice just to look within. And I believe that was the greatest gift for me. And from there, I could say that finding my true nature, realizing that it's all of our nature. We appear to be separate, but we all come from this understanding. And being highly sensitive allows you to tap into that. So in this lifetime, you can actually realize your true nature and live in peace, and realize that peace is right there, right here, is who you are. And if you feel like it, maybe I can guide you through a short meditation so you can experience it yourself. But I don't want you to have any expectations from yourself, because we don't want to search for that peace in some experience, even including this one. Be here in this moment. You can close your eyes. You can keep them open and softly gaze down. And notice if you have any thoughts, sensations, perceptions going through your mind right now. Invite them, allow them. Notice the sounds. Allow them, invite them. Notice your breathing. Notice if you're trying to force to breathe a certain way, or you just allow it to breathe. Notice that breathing is happening without effort. Just like countless cells in your body doing its job without any effort on your part. Allow it all in. If your mind wanders, bring your attention back into your breathing. Or sound. Your mind might say that the environment needs to be completely quiet. If I tell you what you need to do tomorrow, it's okay. It's just a thought. Welcome it. Notice if you hold any tension in your body. Notice if you're comfortable or uncomfortable. Allow all of that in this moment. Imagine a light around, pouring from the top of your head, all of your body.
Notice and imagine how this light turns into emptiness. Pour that emptiness into your heart. Notice how it fills your body, your mind. Notice if there are any different sensations that are present. Notice if you feel tired with this one. Allow that emptiness to penetrate every little cell of your body. And if your mind wants to label this experience, just notice it. And if uncomfortable feelings arise, just notice that too. Thoughts arise, just notice that too. And then start feeling sensation of peace, relaxation. Maybe nothing changed, and that's okay. Maybe you feel different. That's okay as well. Notice that our thoughts, sensations, perceptions are just objective experiences. It's not who we are. It's just the content of our experience. It's constantly present. But we can become a witness of these experiences. And as a witness, you take your power back. You feel more rooted in your own energy. You feel more empowered. Not likely easily swayed by outside circumstances. Just notice what it feels like this moment. And when you're ready, slowly start wiggling your fingers and toes. And maybe take another deep breath in. And release. Take your time. do feel like the energy shifted a little bit. Do you guys have any questions? Questions? Okay, good. Actually, I want to read a little bit as we wrapping it up. From the 7th chapter, in drawing things to a close. As we're coming to the end of the book, I want to remind you, dear reader, that there are no endings. We're energy, consciousness, expressing ourselves through this time on earth, and the only constant is our self-awareness of who we truly are. The stories and narratives that we created and picked up from another energy streams do not define our true nature. My understanding of spiritual awakening has evolved over the years, and while I learned the importance of taking care of myself as an empath, I want to remove all labels for a moment and transcend the limitation of being associated with any narrative. As you may have noticed, this book is a deep dive into your self-awareness and remembering who you truly are, beyond the labels and beyond the stories that you can create for yourself. Our primary purpose is to awaken in this lifetime and break the old programming that has been passed down through many generations. And if you're here reading this book, you are the one who is breaking these patterns and creating new ones. You are a secret agent of awakening. I want to celebrate that. You are making an essential contribution in your lifetime. Nothing else is more important than your own awakening. Going deeper and remembering who you are is the ultimate empowerment. In this book, we've covered many strategies to transform your sensitivity and become empowered. We've discussed how energy works and how energy streams are formed. We also covered how you can escape harmful energy streams by tapping into your self-awareness in various ways. We've covered how, as an empath, you can take care of yourself to the next, how you can take your self-care to the next level and transcend beyond any labels. And most importantly, you know now that spiritual awakening is your primary purpose in living a happy and fulfilled life. So go ahead and share your life with your loved ones and others by being an example of what's possible for them as well. Your empowerment has always been there with you. We are love disguised in these magnificent bodies. Your natural state never leaves you.
Thank you. Thank